But wait, the golden rule is in the Bible. The golden rule is literally in Matthew. Jesus literally spoke the golden rule. Please send me the Bible verse that says this is the golden rule. The golden rule does not exist in the Bible, nor did God or Jesus himself intend it to be the golden rule. I've gotten a lot of heat and feedback about the golden rule being more in line with New Age or pagan practices than it is Christianity. And I stand beside this fact, and I'm going to explain how. Though the golden rule is closely associated with Christianity, it actually predates it by about 500 years. 500 BC. That's 500 years before Christ, far predating the time of the Acts and the Apostles. Normally, we interpret the golden rule as telling us how to act. It reminds us that we are peers of one another and in comparable consideration to each other. At the very least, it communicates that we ought to care for the needs of others and not add to their burdens, to not treat their needs as secondary. However, this is where I get hung up and where I don't believe that you should stand believing in this statement that it is the golden rule. In fact, standing beside the statement that the golden rule is a biblical principle insists that you actually are stepping into the realm of universalism and possibly pantheism. There are more than a dozen other active religions that all claim to this exact same statement, though maybe slightly modified or different. And Jesus was not the first one to utter this as a, quote, golden rule. In fact, all these other religions stated as the quintessential apex of humanity and their faith is to care for one another's needs. And that is not what my Bible tells me. You see, if you read this in its full context, Yeshua actually makes this rule second in priority. That is to the first. That is to love the Lord your God, the Father, first. Why is this important? You see, when we elevate this to a gold standard and the worldview that we see it through, the world believes that gold is the standard. I would like to buy a timeshare. I'd like to be part of a vacation club. They want to sell you on the bronze package. They got the silver package, but they want you to lock in at the gold standard. In our worldview, our understanding, people look to gold as the standard of the greatest value. Gold is still standard as number one. So what happens when you elevate the well-being of your brothers and sisters and strangers above everything? You have turned yourself into a philanthropist who does not seek God first, but seeks to do good as a means of righteousness. We are not made righteous by our good works. It is through Christ alone that he has made us righteous. It is through his sacrifice and our acceptance of the free gift of salvation that covers over and takes away our sin that makes us righteous. And that is why Yeshua himself says the first commandment, the greatest, is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, all your strength, and all your spirit. So when we elevate loving our neighbor as ourself to the gold standard, we take God off the pedestal of priority. Every other religion talks about how we must uphold this as the absolute maxim. It's about works, it's about labor, it's about doing that you might be found righteous. There is no act or work that you can do that will make you righteous outside of the receiving of the free gift of Jesus Christ, whom he purchased on the cross at Calvary. When we look at the other religions, it's all about work. That's why I put this in line with karma. It's the same concept. This is a universalistic approach to making the Bible relevant and the same as every other religion. But Jesus said it's the golden rule. No, he didn't. Nowhere in the Bible does Jesus say that this is the golden rule. This is a cultural euphemism to express in 1600 that, oh, Christ brought the golden rule. Your religions aren't so different from us. We're actually all the same, but we have the greater truth. They were attempting to universalize, and I believe actually to try and make Christianity not seem so strange across other cultures. When we start to compare ourselves to science, to other religions, and other concepts that are out there in the world, we say we're not as crazy as you think we are. It actually devalues the supernatural supremacy of the gospel, and that there is no other book like it, it, no other law like it, and nothing else that will ever be like it, because God is the same yesterday, today, and forever, and there will be none like him, nor has there ever been, nor will there be. When we place the golden rule in the standard of this is the most important by means of us trying to universalize ourselves, make ourselves relevant, we are actually confusing the gospel, because every other religion says we have to give, we have to work, we have to serve, we have to work hard and love each other and do all these things. But my Bible expresses that we can only fulfill this golden rule that was coined in the 1600s by Anglo-Saxon theologians, that we can only fulfill this supposed rule by first and foremost loving God. And we don't love others through what we have, we love others because of what he has deposited in us. My Bible tells us that we can only love because he first loved us. And then when we are loving others, it is not through our own works that we are loving them. We will grow tired, we will grow exhausted, we will not have patience, we will not have virtue in our relationships long term unless we are loving with the virtuous character and love of God living in us, by which we must have first a relationship with him. And through that relationship, it is not by our works, but it is by his works in us that we are empowered to love others as ourselves, to value, to outdo one another in showing honor. It is not through our good works or our good efforts. It's through our relationship with God that we then are empowered to love others even more than we might love ourselves. Around 500 BC, the Confucian version of the Golden Rule faced a more rigid Chinese clan system, outdoing the Hebrews in social class distinction and the sense that many lives were worthless. More, Confucius himself made the Golden Rule an unrivaled centerpiece of his philosophy. And if you still don't believe me that this is actually an attempt for universalism to sneak into our church and pull believers astray, saying, oh yes, all paths ultimately lead to Jesus, we're all sharing the same message. Let me end this video with each of the golden rules across the map of religions today. Udana Varga of Buddhism stated himself, "Treat not others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful." Confucius stated this, one word which sums up the basis of all good conduct: loving kindness. Do not do to others what you do not want done to yourself. Taishan Kangying Pen of Taoism said this, regard your neighbor's gain as your own gain, and your neighbor's loss as your own loss. Guru Granth Sahib in Sikhism communicates, I am a stranger to no one, and no one is a stranger. To me, indeed, I am a friend to all. Christianity, Jesus himself in the book of Matthew says, in everything do to others as you would have them do unto you. For this is the law and the prophets. A Unitarianism principle says, we affirm and promote respect for the independent web of existence, of which we are a part. In native spirituality, Chief Dan George is stated, we are as much alive as we keep the earth alive. Shayasna Shayast in Zoroastrianism makes this claim, do not do unto others whatever is injurious to yourself. Mahavira in Jainism, one should treat all creatures in the world as one would like to be treated. In the Talmud, Judaism speaks, what is hateful to you, do not do that to your neighbor. This is the whole Torah. All the rest is commentary. In Islam, the Prophet Muhammad hadith is recorded saying, no one of you truly believes until you wish for others what you wish for yourself. In the Baha'u'llah Gleanings for the Baha'i Faith, it states this proverb, lay not on any soul a load that you would not wish to be laid upon you, and desire not for anyone the things you would not desire for yourself. In the Mahabharata, I might have said that wrong, I apologize. In Hinduism, it goes on to say, this is the sum of duty. Do not do unto others what would cause pain if done to you. It is with that I truly believe, by elevating the second commandment Jesus gives us to the gold standard, we are allowing idolatry, something above God. And the Bible clearly states, have no other gods before me, that he is the first and the last. And I want to meet him face to face and not say that I believed a euphemism from 1600s that shaped my life to love others first, as opposed to receiving love from God, that I might be a witness unto those. If you found this helpful, please be sure to share it along and watch as I'm going to cover the other 7 remaining points, and I'll probably even circle back and touch on the concept of karma as well from my first video. If you didn't see my other video, it displayed 7 pagan New Age practices that Christians actively participate in.